Welcome back to the channel, and hopefully today I'll be able to get the rest of the cutting done on the carcasses. Left last week with just marking out the two centre cross beams to go underneath the shelves in the middle and support the weight. So I've just got 4 tenons to cut, make sure that they fit the mortises, and then I can crack on with actual piece preparation. And it really signals a pause in the channel, because after today everything until I come to glue up will be sanding, and you don't want to see hours of me just doing that. What I'm going to do, I think, is once I've got the tenons cut and ready to fit, I'll make a start on the doors, get those sanded, get those glued up, and then I can just put them to one side and leave them until I'm ready. With the carcasses, I think what I'm going to do is each one individually. I'm not going to do both together. I'm going to glue the side panels, get those all nice and square, and then I can start fitting the cross rails and the centre uprights with their support. So that's the plan of action. Let me just cut these and then we can carry on. Now, as I did before, I'm going to work along the fence to keep all of these cuts straight, and just it's going to mean adjusting the fence for every single cut, but at least they will be straight and along the grain. So here we go. Now it's using the fence to cut across the grain. Okay, so first fitting of the first cross member. This tenon fits nicely, but you might not be able to see it. There is a small 1.5 millimeter gap at this end, so I would think that is the depth of the mortise. It just needs tidying up a little bit more. So that's that one. I haven't quite gone down deep enough in tidying this one up. There's still quite a bit of loose stuff down at the bottom. That's better. That's a nice snug fit. Right, I'm just going to get set up with the workmate to use as the bench, and then I can just start sanding the doors down and get those ready for glue up. Now, apart from taking the rest of these labels off, because I don't need those anymore. Right, my normal sanding regime is 40, 80, 120, 180 grit, but I've gone over most of them like that anyway, so this is just to take the ultimate rough off and get rid of, on the frames, the pencil lines. So I'm going to cut out the 40 and just start at 80 and crack on. I've noticed there is a little bit of water staining and one or two divots where the plane was taking out some excess. So I think I will get the 40 out for this bit. I'm pleased with this one. This is where I extended its width, and it shows up clearly on the reverse of the panel, but on the front you can hardly see, and I'm ever so pleased with the way that that's gone. So I'll get the higher grits done, the lower grits done first, I think, before I then start swapping. Well, that's coming on nicely. You see the sort of repetitive nature that this is going to be, and that's why I'm not going to bore you with endless hours of sanding. So let me crack on and I'll catch up with you later. Now, one thing I've come across, because my cutting isn't as accurate as it could be, some of these tenons mean that the pieces, the rails and stiles don't meet perfectly. So there's a lip here, the stile is raised above the rail. Here the rail is above the stile. So what I'm going to do is just lightly mark with pencil the low bit and then sand the high bit until I start taking the low off. There we are. So that is now quite flush and I've taken the pencil off. And that's as far as I'm going for today. I've got all of the doors sanded now and that's taken it down to 180 grit. I'm going to leave the sanding there because one or two of the pieces need a little bit of filling because of worm damage. There are no worms in them now, but I just want to fill in those little bits and then I can finish the sanding. But next up is to actually glue the doors up. So thanks for coming along with me, and yes, I'm pleased with the progress I'm making, and so next time I'll be able to get all of the doors glued and start the sanding of the carcasses. So I'll see you next time.